So this tree's about 140, maybe 135. It's really skinny, and but we've got targets down below, so those branches are too heavy to cut and hold. So we're going to zip line them out. I'll give you some considerations that come to mind when I set up a zip line, such a situation. It's not advice, I'm not a teacher, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking. So obviously the steeper the actual line angle, the safer it's going to be, because you're side loading the tree. So what I'll do to start with is I'm going to put several slings on the branches on this side, and link them to the line rather than do one at a time. So that's going to kind of lessen the pull on this part of the tree, because the line angle will be redirected at the next sling up, so the leverage will be low down, and this will just get compressed rather than pulled out. So I'll get these branches off on this side first, and then I'm going to try and get that top off before we take off the back limbs. So the back limbs are going to act as kind of a ballast, or they're going to give us a bit of resistance, so the sway isn't too bad when we take that top. In an exposed site like this, you should be looking to take the top at the soonest opportunity. So as soon as these limbs are off, that's what we're going to do. We'll move up there, take the top, and then thereafter it's a much safer job, because in an hour or so the wind could get up here, and that's just not where you want to be, taking that very last piece. And as well as that, these branches are really loaded with cones, so they're heavier than they would be. I mean, Douglas fir is heavy anyway, but they're even heavier, so we need to get that top right. So we'll get some slings on now. If you notice, I'm using rope slings, which I've been meaning to get for ages, because I prefer them, because they tend to bite into the branches better than flat slings. I've had a few flat slings where I probably didn't pay as much attention to the bite, and they've actually slipped out on wet days. There was no damage, but it was a good warning. Steel carabiners for rigging is my preference. So when you set a sling for zip lining, you've got to consider where you're going to make the cut, because when this comes off, if the sling is a similar length to where the branch collar is, where you're going to make the cut, then what can happen is as this butt, once it's been severed, it can align and dig into the line and act as a brake, you know, and it happens very suddenly and at any point mid-line, not usually straight away. So the branch can be sliding down and then come to a juddering halt, which is, you know, something this size is not a big issue, but on a big branch it's a big issue. You know, it's not what you want. It's like a shock load, and combined with side loading the tree, it's yeah, not a nice situation, potentially dangerous. So you know, either put it up close so there's plenty of overhang there, or it extends further, yeah, or put it nearer the middle where the rest of the branch extends further than the sling. Don't put them so they align. Okay. Okay, Daryl. So that line is pulling only as far as the next piece, which is good. If you're swinging limbs around, balancing stuff low down, it's different. Then you want a high line or a high point with a steeper angle, and then you can balance the limb and swing it round. But if you're only going as far as the next carabiner, it's difficult to swing stuff around. It's like rigging, conventional rigging without a high point. So we're going to leave these back ones on for now. At this point, a 4-cylinder would be nice, and I wouldn't have to keep clipping and unclipping, but it's no big deal. So on this one, using an extra long sling, so there's no way this butt end of the top is gonna clash with the line. Do you know what I mean? If it was a short sling like that, this butt end could end up acting as a brake on the line. Sometimes it doesn't, but it's too big of a risk to take. This is not a big top, but it's heavy because it's weighted full of cones, and we're on a very skinny section of tree at this point. So we've got a nice steep line angle, so everything should go safely. To be honest with you, I could aim that top down there free fall, and if it wasn't for doing this camera work, that's what I'd do. Don't zip line stuff if you don't have to. If you can see a spot to drop the top down, especially, just do it. Don't know if I got that. Hope so. Anyway, thanks for watching. I won't show the remainder because it's boring. Nothing you haven't seen before. Thanks, cheers. So that was yesterday's job, and the videoing and everything wasn't planned or rehearsed, so I just realised the opportunity at the time to sort of follow on from the previous video, which was at the same site. There's other zip lining job where it was all condensed and about 7 minutes long, and you see the big tree coming down and it all runs like a dream seemingly. But yeah, I just wanted to point out some considerations that I would have in mind when I approach a particular job like that. Not all of them, just some. And I'd like to say it's that specific job, that profile of tree. So because it does worry me a little bit that people see these style of videos and everything's just all running like clockwork, and it's all, like I say, it's edited and condensed, but it doesn't show the planning and the thought that goes into it. Everything just sort of falls into place, and everybody goes home safely. So that's the point I was trying to make, really. You shouldn't attempt zip lining unless you have a thorough knowledge of conventional rigging, because it's on the right job it's great. It's fast and efficient and convenient. You don't need as many people on the ground, but in the wrong situation, it's you could be making your last ever cut up there if you misjudge something. It's potentially fatal. And I think I made a point during when it came to actually taking the top off, which is probably the most dangerous part of it. And what I was trying to say is if you get to that point and you see an opportunity to just drop the top down, then do it. Don't think you have to sling it up and run it down the line just because you've done the rest of the tree like that. It's safer to if it's safer to free fall that top, then do it. Don't take a chance that you don't have to, because it's all about, and that's what I was trying to show in the video. It's all about giving yourself an extra margin of safety without going over the top. You know what I mean? You still got to be practical, but it's about putting things in your favour. That's the most important thing, and that's to go home safely at the end of the night. So, and never get yourself in a situation where you end up making like a fuck it cut. You know what I mean? When I say that, I mean you get to a point where you don't know what to do. You're out your depth, whatever. Or you're scared, and you just think, oh fuck it, just cut it off there and see, it'll be all right. It'll fucking never be all right. Do you know? It's never all right on its own. You've got to be in control. Never take a chance. Never do something that you're not 100% sure of the outcome. And that's all I wanted to say, really. I saw the views of the previous video, and there's like nearly 2,000 views in a couple of days, and loads of positive comments, and which is nice. But I think, oh shit, I don't want people thinking it's dead easy, and that I'm just slinging stuff up and mindlessly just cutting them off anywhere, and it all just works like a dream, because it doesn't. All that is I have to think it all through. You know what I mean? I concentrate really hard, and I have a good understanding of what I'm doing, though. And I went on again about the steep line angles. It's really important, that you reduce or keep the side loading of the tree to a minimum. I've seen ground workers and whole crews get fixated with having big wide line angles, and they're running stuff through the air and thinking, oh, hey, look at this, is great, like look at that, look how far we can get it to go. Meanwhile the tree's bent over at 30 degrees, you know, it's crazy. You know, you've got to get your priorities right. But anyway, I won't go on. Thanks for watching, and yeah, just be safe, okay? Cheers.